I feel like collective consciousness is changing. And I do feel like plant medicines have their place. And maybe this is just a change that's occurring in me, but I feel like what I'm sensing is that people think the plants are doing the work and it's not them, right? It's almost like in filmmaking terms, you think the formula or the school and the things that you've learned, the things that are rattling around in here are what make a good film. That's what helps refine what's in the heart to me. And it's the same thing. Like, I see people going back to plant medicine month after month after month. And I'm thinking, like, at what point do you realize that you need to do the work? That, like, yeah, I'm still being real rough with my kids, or I still haven't figured out my life. And it's just like, maybe doing ayahuasca for the 30th time is the problem. Maybe it's actually the obstacle instead of the solution. And maybe the solution is realizing that sobriety, we're always on something. I don't know if you guys realize it, but we're all on DMT right now. It just happens to be trace amounts. We all produce DMT. But I feel like the real challenge to some psychonauts is sobriety. Yeah. And I challenge people, whether it's plant medicines, whether it's their job, whether it's their family, whether it's like filmmaking, art, whatever. I challenge people to take the road less traveled, because you surprise yourself. You end up surprising yourself. When you do the same thing over and over and over again, it becomes increasingly harder. Neurologically, there's a science to this. And this is why neurofeedback is so good, because you can tell when those well-worn pathways are being overly excited. And if you only ever use that pattern, you're never going to get what you never expected. Miracles cannot occur when you only ever feed the same pattern, right? If you're only ever doing the same thing, you're leaving no room for miracles to occur. And I think that magic does exist. I believe in miracles. I really do. And I think they're much more practical and simple. I think we think these things, they must be so complex that only like, a well-spoken person can put it into words. I think it's much more simple, because babies come out of the womb, like looking like, you can tell they're seeing magic. You can tell this is a magical world to them. And I feel like we become cynical looking at the world as a defense mechanism against constantly violating what we know to be true, and allowing the world to tell us that we're less than who we really are. Like, I think the miracle is when people think you got to give so much effort, you got to work so hard, and it's got to be hard, you got to toil. I do believe there's a lot of merit to that. But sometimes it really is what I was saying earlier, is like the miracles happen when you give up and you just say, you know what? I give up on 80% of the stuff that I've been doing, and I'm just going to make life easier. And then so many of these anecdotes that I hear from people are like, that's when the epiphany happened, or that's when I realized my real path in life was when I gave up on the shit that I was just running on the hamster wheels. By the way, there is a economic, or let's say a business entrepreneurial model to this. It's the 80-20 rule, which means you got to learn how to give up 80% of the stuff that's only bringing you 20% of the return, and focus on the 20% of stuff that's giving you 80% return. And without making it just like a business model, I think there's a lesson in that we try to control the outcome. We try to control life so we can control the outcome, but that's not actually what life is about. Getting the outcomes that we're expecting is not what life is about. If life doesn't surprise us, there's no such thing as miracles or magic in life, and life feels like a prison. It just turns into a prison, and then we blame the system. And I do believe the system has a lot of problems with it, but we end up blaming the system, being like, this is a slave system. Look at what they've done. I agree with a lot of that, but I think a lot of it is our mindset. We're not looking for miracles anymore. We're looking for safety. Just look at the post-COVID world. We're bowing at the altar of safety, as Charles Eisenstein says. We're looking for safety first. when really, I mean, this is a Burning Man term, but safety third, you know?